Coming up on American Black Journal, our Black Church in Detroit series is going to examine the history and evolution of gospel music. We're going to talk about its influence in sacred and in secular spaces. Plus, we'll take you to the 18th annual Silence the Violence March and Rally at the Church of the Messiah. Stay where you are. American Black Journal starts right now.
From Delta faucets to Behr paint, Masco Corporation is proud to deliver products that enhance the way consumers all over the world experience and enjoy their living spaces. Masco, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support also provided by the Cynthia and Elsa Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit PBS.
The DTE Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit PBS. Through our giving, we are committed to meeting the needs of the communities we serve statewide to help ensure a bright and thriving future for all. Learn more at dtefoundation.com.
Also brought to you by Nissan Foundation. And viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm your host, Stephen Henderson. Today we are continuing our series on the Black Church in Detroit, which is produced in partnership with the Ecumenical Theological Seminary and the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. June is Black Music Month, and it can be argued that no musical culture has been as influential on the modern world as African American music. It's a tradition that is rooted in the old spirituals and gospel music of the Black Church. Joining me now to talk about the history, the evolution, and the influence of African American religious music is Dr. Deborah Smith Pollard. She is a gospel radio host on Mix 92.3 FM and a professor emerita at the University of Michigan, Dearborn, along with Dr. Brandon Waddles, who's an assistant music professor at Wayne State University, and he's currently on tour with The Wiz as associate music director. Welcome, both of you, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So as I said there in the open, Black music is American music, and so much of that is true because of the roots of spirituals and gospel. It's 2025 though, and of course we arrived here on this continent many centuries ago with that music and with those traditions. Let's talk about what that looks like now and how it may be different, how the influence may be different than it has been in the past. Dr. Pollard, I'll start with you.
Oh, okay. The influence on the community?
Sure.
Well, it continues in some interesting ways. Jamal Roberts just won on American
Idol.
Yeah. Right? And he was singing gospel songs.
Yeah.
He had earlier been on Sunday Best,
Yes.
where he had not won, but Kirk Franklin had encouraged him to just, connect with the audience. And he had so many votes on American Idol that I think it means that people don't just brush gospel music aside because it sounds great. And many of them embrace the message of it.
Yeah.
There are other places, of course, where we can see it, of course, in TV shows and movies. I don't know, sometimes I look up and I'm like, wait a minute, you guys are singing Oh Happy Day? Okay, the song was recorded all these years ago, 55 years ago, and you're still singing it. But it still has an influence on so many people.
Yeah.
And that's really great.
The American Idol example is really interesting because, well, number one, that's a show that's supposed to search for, pop singers, I guess, is what they would probably say. Selecting a gospel singer is kind of a nod to, the overlap and the influence on the music, and it's a popular vote, right?
That's right.
It's people choosing, and it's people from a wide demographic, right? It's not just African Americans.
That's right.
Who
absolutely
are doing
not.
that, right? It's
right.
mostly other people. So for them to acknowledge that, this is American music. This is idol-worthy is really interesting.
I can just say something academic. That boy can sing. Okay, yeah.
Right, it didn't matter what he was singing.
That's right.
It was just that he could.
That's right.
Yeah. Dr. Waddles, you are the Associate Music Director for this production of The Wiz. I think that's interesting too in the context of gospel. That's not a gospel musical, but the songs in it are not different from gospel
at all. I have been having this conversation on a number of different iterations about how this revival of The Wiz is inclusive of so many different generations. Those generations that first witnessed the young Stephanie Mills back in the 70s. Those of us that found the cult movie, so Quincy and Barry was Diana and Michael. That's how we got to it.
Right.
And now a new generation that can experience it on stage again. And what I will say is that African American music over its evolution continues to influence upon itself. So spirituals are being impressed upon by all of the different genres that it helped to create, like jazz and gospel music, but also hip hop. We've got a dance break that's in the middle of Slide Some Oil to Me that, mind you, was put together by figures like Jaquel Knight and Adam Blackstone, who you know have worked with Beyonce and everyone else. We have a wonderful vocal arranger by the name of Alan Renee Lewis, who is the artistic director of the Broadway Inspirational Voices, who put together these gospel-tinged vocal arrangements in, Don't Nobody Bring Me No Bad News. And Eveline's got her tambourine. Kyla Jade, who was a former contestant from The Voice, who is now playing Aunt Eveline and Aunt M. And it is, it's a house burner. It would tear the church down if we were across the street, at Bishop Shears Church or something like that, And so there are all of these inspirations that we receive that help us to feel seen. And that is so important, just the idea of The Wiz about feeling seen, about feeling home, and remembering that for many of us, in African American culture, the first home was the church.
Right.
When we had no place
no
else
place
to
else.
go.
That's right.
Sure. With The Wiz, I always think of, that last number that Dorothy sings home. And the fact that I had a conversation with someone a few years ago who was talking about that song, and they wanted to play it for me. And the version they called up was the Whitney Houston version. And they said, Whitney Houston sang this song. I said, actually, Stephanie Mills first sang that song, then Diana Ross sang that song, and they had no idea, right? I mean, I feel like that musical and the music from it kind of inhabits each generation differently. Right, people come across it in different ways, and whatever is their first experience with it is the one that they think is the one. That's the one, right?
They are so held to and indebted to that iteration. Some people find the movie to be the version.
Right.
People who never experienced it on stage. So Diana is their Dorothy, Stephanie is someone else's Dorothy. And then I think about all of the local and regional theater productions of The Wiz that have happened all over North America and otherwise. They've been happening all over the world.
That's right.
So everybody's got their Dorothy. Everybody's got their Scarecrow and Lion and Tin Man. It's a little bit of home, a different home to everybody, and that's so beautiful because I always remind people that Blackness is not monolithic, and so there's a beauty and the difference of experience for everybody.
Before we were started taping, we were talking about the BET Awards and some of the influence and presence of of gospel there. You know, that's also interesting because again, it's that merging of the church and spirituality with pop culture, which is not always easy, and sometimes raises people's hackles about how appropriate is it for gospel music to be in that space, or how appropriate it is for pop culture to be influencing gospel music. But I guess we never really get to sort that out. It's fun to argue about, though, isn't it?
Well, you know what? One of the things I always teach in my class is that the music is part of the community.
Yeah.
So the fact that we can go back and name all these different artists who included it, she's not going to come for me because she likes me. But Twinkie Clark, even though she was raised in the Church of God in Christ, which said, "Thou shalt not listen to secular music," how could you be in Detroit with Stevie Wonder's music and not hear Master Blaster?
Yeah.
So that reggae sound in that song influenced You Brought the Sunshine, which remains the biggest selling song by the Clark sisters, who have won multiple Grammys and are loved around the world. So I just tell them, I said, you say, this belongs here and this belongs here. Stomp by Kirk Franklin. Oh, it's the devil's music. I went to T.D. Jakes' Women Thou Art Loosed 3 years ago. I'm walking in, there's a DJ playing it. There were folks older than me. There were folks young enough to be my great-granddaughters who all knew the words to the song and even the rap that Salt was doing, okay? So I'm just saying, I always tell them, just take a breath. In 10 minutes or 10 years, okay, it's going to switch over and you're going to embrace it and say, I really wish that they could make more songs like Stomp. Okay.
It's so generational, right?
Yes,
we can go back to the beginnings of Black gospel music as we know it. Our accredited father, Thomas Dorsey, was a blues player
musician
and worked with Ma Rainey, one of the great mothers of the blues, and they would throw him out of the church for that gospel blues that we now term as the sound of Black gospel music.
Right.
Traditional.
Yeah, traditional. You could go classic and go to James Cleveland and then go find your way to Edwin and Walter Hawkins and Andre Crouch, who were, at sometimes bastardized for the sounds that they brought. That not then at some point later they called, now that's gospel.
Right.
And then of course Kirk Franklin, sampling, hip hop and rap and stomp, and they said, now that's gospel. Now. So we're always going to be flipping. But the same thing happens with rhythm and blues,
with R&B,
because they booed Whitney at the Soul Train Awards, for a sound that they felt wasn't truly R&B. I think it's so funny, but I think it's good to allow for the dialogue about what our sounds are. And what they are continuing to evolve.
I was going to say it's still evolving. So where is it headed now?
Let's just say the biggest selling gospel female is CeCe Winans. But I have academic friends who will not be named who think because some of her music is categorized as CCM, contemporary Christian music, and not categorized as gospel, they're like, I just can't play that anymore. I'm just not going to share that anymore. And so you're talking about the sounds, but there are others, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, and there are many others who also embrace CCM and gospel music. But we have, some of us have in our head, if it doesn't sound like the day I got saved, then it can't really be gospel music. But it changes. And the fact is, it's a message, and if the message is delivered,
it's still there.
Then calm down. Okay, just calm down.
So much about the needs of the community, right? We have now in 2025 different needs than those that grew up during the civil rights era. Who were influenced by, James Cleveland and Mattie Moss Clark, and certainly, they had different needs, perhaps, than those that were influenced by Claire Ward and all of those, Thomas Dorsey and Mahalia Jackson.
Yeah.
We have needs that are being met by CC and Kirk Franklin and Glorilla.
Right, even that, right?
We have
That's
different
right.
needs, and what we have to realize, as Nina Simone would often talk about, is that we have a responsibility with our art. We have a great responsibility
phrase, right?
with our art. And so as long as we remember the message and the need, the music needs to meet that.
Yeah.
However it does so sonically.
Yeah.
If I could say this right quick, when I was on 18 years on JLB,
right.
I would play holy hip hop, and I would say, if this is not the sound that you embrace, turn it down and pray for those who can embrace it, because the message is there.
Right.
That's it.
It's still the same message. Yeah. So when I think about gospel, I always think about one song and one version of it, and it's a live recording that I have of Mahalia Jackson singing "How I Got Over."
Okay.
And it is, for me, it's everything musically and spiritually that says gospel to me, and of course that's because that's music that I heard in my house when I was a kid. I think that's how you relate to it, but it also makes it hard for me sometimes to hear what's going on now and think, well, this is okay, or this is the same thing. Is it? Maybe
just
not.
turn it down and pray for those who are listening to it, that they can embrace it.
It's so interesting, when we think about different songs. Remember we talked about home.
Yeah.
And how one person hears that title and they say, oh, that's Whitney.
Yeah.
Another says Steph.
Right.
You said How I Got Over, and I thought Aretha.
You thought Aretha?
Okay.
Amazing Grace album.
That's a great version
and
too,
it's
right?
so interesting to think about, even though Aretha, our dear queen from this home in Detroit, who started out at New Bethel with her daddy, and James Cleveland, mind you, who was there as a minister of music at some point. But at the time that she recorded that, she was very much steeped in rhythm and blues and popular music. Yeah. So it seemed to some people to be almost a complete 180 for her to go to church and sing How I Got Over. Right. But of course, she would have been inspired by figures like a Claire Ward and a Mahalia Jackson, those people who were good and dear friends of her father, Reverend C.L.
Yeah. All right, great conversation. We could sit here all day talking about, I think, gospel, but it's great to have both of you here. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Earlier this month, Church of the Messiah, led by Pastor Barry Randolph, held its 18th annual Silence the Violence March and Rally. The event honors innocent shooting victims and brings together Detroit residents, law enforcement, and lawmakers to find ways to end the gun violence in our city's neighborhoods. American Black Journal contributor Daijah Moss was there, and she produced this report.
We see you. That's why we do this. We see you. We do this so the world can see. And one Saturday in June, we got to take it to the street.
My son, Khalil Allen, was killed July 12, 2023. I'm really focused right now on the young people that are in gangs, the young people that have stepped out of gangs, what they're missing, and what I can do to pour in and fill. It's one thing to ask them to put the gun down, put the stick down, but what are we doing as a community to pour back into them?
It's definitely kind of like disturbing in a way, because it's so normal to us, especially with social media. You can scroll and see senseless violence, stuff like that easily. But over time, doing stuff like this will help overpower and change the narrative for it.
My best friend was killed, and it was over something petty, and they followed him to his mother's home and shot him in front of the home, and his parents had to find him. Aside from that tragic story and how it makes me feel, you can see it's bothering me now to this day, and that was almost 20 years ago, but it still hurts. I still think of him as his child and the people we grew up around, and how easy it was, or I don't want to say easy, I want to say how common it was. The violence was so common to us that we just became comfortable with it, and that's the scary part.
One of my brothers was murdered in prison. My other brother, he was a part of some violence in the community. And my father, he committed suicide the day after Thanksgiving. So gun violence is not just something that's just, random. These things are happening to us every single day that we carry. And I could be mean and mad and angry about the things that have affected my family, but I choose to stand against gun violence so that the things that have happened to me and my family don't happen to somebody else and their families.
Silence the violence!
Every day I wake up and I look on the TV and somebody has been shot and murdered, and I know what the family's going to go through, because I welcome to my world. I know what you're going to go through. I hope that we can just all come together and bring this thing down and just learn how to communicate better. And we all can just communicate together more and learn how to love each other more. It's everybody's, a lot of people just mad for no reason. Just love a little bit more. I changed my ways. I used to be mad. I'm still mad, but I know how to cycle that madness and help folks.
I am really sick and tired of hearing the phrase thoughts and prayers. And I understand that that's a little weird coming from a bishop, but let me tell you this. I am tired of people using that phrase, an insipid phrase, because they are afraid of taking courageous action. Because the state of Michigan deserves better, and we are the people who are going to make that happen.
This ain't no joke to me. This is serious business. Yes, we reduce crime. Yes, we at a 60-year low. But if we lose one life, we have failed.
We lost our children, and we speaking out because we don't want to hear about nobody else losing their children the way our children was taken from us.
The goal of this is to, one, let the perpetrators of this violence know, hey, we're out here. So we see you, we know what's going on. But at the same time, it's to let the other people know, to empower them. Hey, you are more powerful than the man with the gun because he's only one. He's only one. We or she, whoever it is, they're only one person. But we are a community, we outnumber them.
We know that guns are the catalyst, but people kill people. So if we can get people to understand, listen, we understand your plight, we understand your frustration, but today we need you to understand that we are a unity, we are a village, we are a community, and we're here to support silencing the violence within our community. We're not taking it anymore.
That's going to do it for us this week. In honor of Black Music Month, we're going to leave you now with a gospel performance by Bishop Charles Ellis III of Greater Grace Temple titled Done for Me. You can find out more about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org, and you can connect with us anytime on social media. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
What is done for me, what is done for me, I just got to tell you what the Lord has done for me. He loosed my shackles and he set me free. I just got to tell you what the Lord has done for me. Help me choir. What he's done for me. Oh, what he's done for me. I just got to tell you. I just got to tell what the Lord has done. What he's done for me. Loose my shackles. Set me free. And he set me free. I just got to tell you what the Lord has done. What he's done for me. Let me tell you what he did. When sin had me out, Jesus took me in. When I felt all alone, he became my best friend. And now he's right here with me through the thick and the thin. And I just got to tell you what the Lord has done for me. He lifted me up when I was feeling low. And I heard them joy bells ring down in my to sharing this. Talk to me, Paul.
Bishop, he brought me out of the marble clay, and he set my feet on a solid rock to stay. Then he put a song in my soul today, and I just got to tell you what the Lord has done for me. But he's done. I just got to tell you what he's done for me. Loose the shackles, set me free. I got to tell you, I just got to tell.
Come on and put them hands together. Maybe you're driving and you can't clap them hands. But if you're in an office complex, find you a private space. Maybe you're in your
From Delta Faucets to Behr Paint, Masco Corporation is proud to deliver products that enhance the way consumers all over the world experience and enjoy their living spaces. Masco, serving Michigan communities since 1929.
Support also provided by the Cynthia and Elsa Ford Fund for Journalism at Detroit PBS.
The DTE Foundation is a proud sponsor of Detroit PBS. Through our giving, we are committed to meeting the needs of the communities we serve statewide to help ensure a bright and thriving future for all. Learn more at dtefoundation.com.
Also brought to you by Nissan Foundation and viewers like you. Thank you.